Good morning, everyone. So, today, Saturday, once again, it is moral science class for you. Today, we are going to learn chapter number 6, and the topic is Think Positive. Whenever we speak about positiveness, it always suggests us that our approach, our thinking, our views, our ideas, whatever we do have towards to our various works, that is what Think Positive always tries to tell us. In this chapter, we have all heard of the power of the mind, but what does it mean? It is a supernatural ability that only comic book characters have. No, we can all make our minds powerful if we develop a positive attitude to life. It is well said here that it is possible if we have our minds with full of powerful thinking. Okay, we can all make our minds powerful if we develop the habit of thinking positive. It depends upon our own thoughts, views, our own thinking, that how can we develop our mind powerful. It depends upon our own goodwill, willpower. It depends upon our positiveness in the attitude in our life. That makes everything possible. That is why everybody suggests us to all the time become positive in thinking. There is the same amount of water in both glasses. The optimist sees what is there and feels happy about it. The pessimist sees what is not there and feels sad about it. If we place two different glasses in the same glasses, we put the same amount of water. There are same amount of water in both the glasses. In such situations, the optimist sees what is there and feel happy about it. Those who are optimist, positiveness in thinking, they are very happy. They are found to be very happy that there is something to see there in the glass of water. The pessimist sees what is not there and feels sad about it. But those who are pessimist, they are negative people. Those who think always negative, they are never happy. They always try to find something it is lacking, something it is not there more. Such type of thinking, it depends upon the one person to another. Some are positive in thinking and some are found to be negative in thinking. But it is very true that positiveness is the vital truth. It always leads to people towards to success. This is what we are going to learn here in this chapter, children. Let us proceed towards to the story, which will make us to learn more and understand better by reading this story which is given here for us to read. And the subtopic is Gardening the Mind. Jonty was an unhappy teenager. Not because bad things were happening to him all the time, not at all. He was unhappy because he was constantly thinking of all the bad things that could happen to him in the future. So this was a kind of thinking, a negative kind of thinking was usually found to be developing into the mind of Jonty. He was always found to be unhappy. He was found to be very gloomy all the time, disappointed all the time. This is what it was found to be happening with Jonty. He was unhappy because he was constantly thinking of all the bad things all the time. Only the bad things, negative thoughts, always it developed into his mind, and he thought that all the bad things that could happen to him in the future. He was thinking about the future, but what kind of thoughts was coming with him? That what will happen with me in the future? How I will get success? What will happen with me? If I will get failures, then what will happen? This type of very poor thoughts, it usually found to be developed into the mind of Jonty. When he got an A grade in the math exam, his mother was delighted. One day, one of the examination it had occurred, and in that particular examination he had secured grade A, because of which mother was very delighted. But He told her, "Don't celebrate yet. The exams next month will be tough and I will be lucky if I get a C." But what did Jonty told to his mother when mother was found to be so delighted and happy because of her son getting grade A? She was about to celebrate it, but Jonty says, "Mother, please don't celebrate, because this time the examination was easy. The very next time, when next examination will be held, at that time this examination is going to be too tough for me, and it will be very happy if I will be very lucky also if I will get at least grade C." In this way, here Jonty is now telling to his mother that not to get overexcited, because this time the examination was easy, that is why he got A, but next time he is not confident. He is not positive in thinking. Negative thoughts are developing into his mind regarding his next exam. That is why he tells to his mother, "Mother, next time the examination is going to be tough. So that time I will be lucky if I will get only grade C." So this type of negative thoughts, negative thinking starts developing into the mind of Jonty. His parents, even his aunt and uncle, tried to tell him to think more positively. Everyone in the family, all the family members tried to make the boy to think in positive in the manner, and Jonty did try. But the gloomy imaginary scenario of failed exams, dropped cases and missed opportunities kept popping up into his mind. But after all, he had been all the time thinking about the examinations, the toughness of the examinations, the hard times of the examinations. All the time these thoughts developed into his mind, which was bringing a lot of negativeness in his mind and thoughts, because of which he dropped catches and missed opportunities, and because of that he missed the opportunities and chances and kept popping up into his mind, and negative thoughts all the time kept on growing and growing into his mind. One Sunday, Jonty's father asked him to help with the gardening. So it was one fine Sunday morning. Father goes in the garden for his as usual gardening work, but this time he likes to call his son to Jonty to go and help with him for his gardening works, because father had a very good hobby of gardening. The family had been busy lately, and so the garden looked rather neglected. Since few days in the past, the family had been very busy, because of which the garden had not been taken care that much in proper manner, because of which the garden had grown very everywhere. In the garden the weeds had grown, and it looked as if the garden was being neglected. Father and son collected the gardening tools from the shed and looked around to see where to begin. In this way, instructed by the father, the son Jonty was also now going to join with his father for the gardening work, and both of them together, father as well as the son, now took the tools. They collected the tools, and now they proceeded towards to the garden, and they wanted to begin the work of gardening, but they were not able to understand where to begin with. It was an easy decision. The rose beds were overgrown with weeds, but finally it was very easily decided that where to begin from the rose beds, because so much of the weeds had already grown in the rose beds. Jonty set to work pulling out the weeds. Now in this way, Jonty also start working. He starts pulling out the weeds. Weeds means those wild grasses generally found to be growing everywhere in the corner of the gardens, because of which the other flowering plants are not able to grow properly because of those wild grasses which grow in the garden and various fields. So his father said, when the son was pulling out those weeds with his hands, father says, "Wait, Jonty, do it the right way. Jonty, you are not doing in a proper manner. You have to do your work rightly, in a proper manner. Do it the right way." And he handed him a trowel to dig out the weeds at the roots. In this way, father hands him a kind of tool here mentioned as trowel, with the help of which he instructs the son to dig these roots with the help of this trowel and try to remove those weeds out with its roots. Why? Because if you don't dig them out at the roots, they will just grow back in a few days. If you will not pull them out, remove them out with their roots itself, then within few days only again those weeds will be found to be grown again, said John Dee's father. This is what father instructs the child regarding the rooting out of those weeds which was grown there in the rose beds. John T. weeded the bed and his father fetched a watering can and carefully watered the rose plants. In this way, both father and the son, John T. started to remove out all the weeds, and father went and came with a kind of can, a kind of watering can that he came back and started to pour the water to the various flowering plants. This is what both of them started to do the work of gardening there. Soon the rose beds looked neat and pretty. In this way, in a short time, it was found that the rose beds were now very beautiful looking, very neat and clean and fresh. Let's take a break for 10 minutes, suggested John Dee's father. As they sat in the garden swing, they talked. In this way, they were quite tired too now after having a lot of work. Then father says, my dear son, let's go and have some time rest, because we have done so much hard work since long time. Let's have a break now and take some rest. So in this way, both the father and son went nearby. There was a swing near the garden. Both of them sat in the swing and started to talk with one another. What did they talk? What they did converse all about? Here are the conversation between father and the son. Father says, what did we just do, John T? We weeded and watered. Father, what would happen if we don't take out the weeds? If we were not removing out all those weeds, what would it happen? Father asked. John T, the rose plants won't grow well. Right answer that he is giving. Father again, what would happen if you water the weeds instead of the plant? If instead of the rose plants, if you had watered those weeds, what it would happen? John T, the weeds will grow even faster. These wild plants would grow faster than the rose plants. Father then says, John T, the rose plants are positive thoughts. My dear child, now you are able to understand. This is how we need to understand the reality of positiveness. The quality of positiveness is so required. It is so important that how we also need to be very positive in our thoughts and views. Here you see, John T, the rose plants are the positive thoughts. The weeds are negative thoughts. And these weeds which you pulled it out, they are all negative thoughts. Never water weeds. So that is why we should not put water into the weeds. That means whenever you think, you have to think positive. And when you think positive, you have to nurture it very well. You have to water the positive thoughts very well. You have to manure the positive thoughts very well. You have to give more and more your, as far as possible, best towards to the thoughts of positiveness, which you can do it better. But you should not put manure or water or give any values and importance to those all negative thoughts like those of the weeds. So this is what father is here trying his best to make his son realize and understand that what is the difference between negative thoughts and what is the difference between positive thoughts. What are the difference between these two thoughts, and how can we nurture positive thoughts well, and how can we go ahead with our positive thoughts in order to become success in our step ahead in our life and in our future. This is what a very good story, a beautiful moral given story here. It is being told by father to make his son understand about that how to give up negative thoughts, how to get rid of negative thoughts, and how to cultivate the positive thoughts has been very beautifully taught here by a father to his son, because the father had found that the son was leading towards to the negative thoughts. With this, let us hope that the boy might have, John T might have been able to cultivate the good habit and the good thoughts and the positive thoughts. I think so. I hope you also think so. So you also should try to take this story as an example, so that you also can carry on with this in your near future to become success, to bring about good results at every step in the life ahead. This is what we learned here, children. The chapter is over. So the remaining quick quiz questions 1, 2, 3, 4, you will be doing it as your homework. So this much for today. So we stop here. Thank you so much and take care.